Hang in there, it is!
Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome to a major championship edition, a journal edition of The Smylie Show. We are live right here from T-Mobile's Club Magenta at the PGA Championship, right off the 10th tee. The 10th hole is Valhalla Golf Club. We're looking at it right out the window over here. Some bleachers where all the action was happening today. Could not have a better place to record this journal, Smylie. And let's kind of start with some stuff you've been doing this week with T-Mobile. We're going to get to Xander's record-setting round. We're going to get to some of the big names in the field that made a move here on day one at Valhalla. But you hosted right in the same location a little episode of Spilling the Tea today with Amanda Balionis. Any highlights you want to share from that conversation?
Yeah, spilling the tea. I love the catchy phrase of spilling the tea. But yeah, yesterday, Max Wyndham and Tony Finau swung by. Today, Amanda Balionis. It was a great conversation with Amanda. She's very easy to talk to. She's very knowledgeable. In her win play show with the Kentucky Derby picks were Xander at first. Luckily, we had seen that Xander had already shot 9 under, so easy to pick Xander.
That's right.
But the next two, she went Brooks, and I think the next one, gosh, I should remember this. I think it was Scotty, or it was one of the two. It was like Scotty, Brooks. So we'll see if that plays out. But great conversation. I think the cool thing about this Club Magenta here is anybody can come in. It's a great spot to come and hang, grab a drink, get some AC. Very odd, a lot of places when you come to an event for hospitality, you got to have a ticket. Don't need a ticket. You can just show up as you are, grab a cocktail, grab some AC. So I think it's a really cool spot here on 10. And as we look at this sunset too, Charlie, should we go grab our clubs and just sneak out here and play a couple holes?
I wouldn't hate to get out for a little twilight, little twilight run, little whiskey run out here.
This place ain't ready for a high yacht right now.
It's looking pure out there. No divots. I mean, they shut it down in November, so it's about as pure as it gets. Yeah, maybe a little magenta coming through in the sunset out there. Pretty picturesque out there at Valhalla. Tomorrow on Spilling the Tea, you got Colton Oast, so looking forward to that. That's 2 to 3 p.m.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
swing by for that.
Smylie together is going to be that'll be a fun hang, and that's from 2 to 3 p.m., which is also known as Magenta Hour right here, Club Magenta. Anyone, as Smylie mentioned, can drop by to hang out with you. And also on the topic of Spilling the Tea, would you like to claim some Smylie mojo for having Tony Finau here on the set, and now he's tied for second PGA Championship?
If Tony Finau, Max Homa, or Wyndham Clark win, we are going to claim that as a W for the show. So,
Must.
I mean, listen, Tony Finau, this is a great golf course for him. Bombs it. He absolutely striped it today, looking at his stats. But the putter, that's been the thing. If he putts it good, he contends, and he's right now in the top 10 in the putting stats. So,
and he's doing something a little different there, and we'll get to that when we talk about Tony, a little bit later in this recap. But it looked like maybe he had a saw grip going for some longer putts, and then it was hard to kind of describe some of the shorter ones, maybe doing like a left hand low kind of action. But it was obviously it's different from the one we've seen where he's got that putter tilted up, and
I didn't like that. So I like changing up when it wasn't going well, which it hadn't gone well for quite some time with the putter. So anytime you are off with the putter, I do this all the time. It's okay to try things that are different and be just because I think putting.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah,
now?
I mean a little bit, but you just got to get comfortable. And I think putting is all about comfort. You talk to any of the game's best, Ben Crenshaw. Look at one of the best putters of all time, Brad Faxon. Do they have the most perfect posture and setup? No. Phil Mickelson, great putter. I mean, he's way behind the golf ball. It's all about seeing your lines correctly and being able to get your ball started on line and be able to match line and speed. And sometimes from 60 feet, it's a saw grip, and sometimes from inside of 3 feet, it's going to be cross-handed. So I don't mind changing up your putter grips based on feel and comfort to be able to get it around the hole and make putts.
And collect as many putters as possible and put them all in your attic. Get blades, get mallets, get the counterbalance putters, get broomsticks, and just switch everyone every month. And then you'll end up like me, which is fun.
Are we going to talk about our round that we had yesterday?
We really should. Should we do that now? I mean,
yeah, right before we get into the meat of the day.
We got to give a couple shout outs here.
Yes.
We got to give a shout out to the Steiden family.
Yes.
A-plus people hosting us here
Yes.
in Louisville, which, by the way, Louisville's really warming up on me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm loving the city. I'm definitely going to come back. And we got to give a shout out to our boys Ben and Graham out of Big Spring.
Yeah.
We went out late afternoon yesterday for a little 18-holer. And where do you want to start with this round recap?
I want to start with the state of your game and what I witnessed yesterday.
You want to talk about a little strokes gained off the tee?
How about I'll talk about your game and you talk about mine?
Okay,
I'll
perfect,
talk about your game. This guy is absolutely striping it right now, but also he's absolutely hitting it awful. I've never seen a player be able to look like a scratch golfer and be a pro player like Charlie could be, but also like a weekend hack. It was unbelievable, the performance he put on. It was epic. And right now, he needs a chipping lesson from me. We need to work through that.
Yes.
Putted it great, but the chipping, the wedge game, and the ability to look like a scratch golfer and just a nobody was epic.
Yeah, I'd say I'm very happy with off the tee right now, except for the one where I tried to drive the green and topped it about 40 yards into some long grass. Really hitting the driver good, hitting the 3-wood good. Then everything that happens between there and the green is just like, it's like I'm blacking out. Like I don't know what's happening. As we've noted, I had a case of the full wedge shanks for a while that really started creeping into the psyche. But I'm right where I need to be.
Yep.
You know, playing about a round a week, trying to do the dad thing, try to do the work thing in that 4 to 5 handicap range. That's gonna
It was
win you
handicap
some
management for sure.
You got to do a little bit of that if you want to win tournaments. So now for your game, I'll say this, Smylie, is it never ceases to amaze me your ability to score from some of the positions you hit it off the tee. I mean, it's incredible. It's truly incredible. It's like sometimes I'm like, man, if that was me, like I'd be like maybe a 30 handicap. But then it's like you get up to the green and you're like, oh yeah, you got another 12-footer for birdie. You're like, how did that happen? So new putter looking really good. That putter's looking really good. So I'd say all in all, Big Spring was an absolute blast. Had a ton of fun out there.
Yeah.
Definitely want to go back. And I'd say the Louisville, the vibes are good. The Magenta vibes are good. They're really good.
Definitely. It was anytime you get 2 fivesomes going, it's always it's a good
music
time.
going,
But
bevies flowing.
Let's get into the round
today. Should we get into some major championship golf?
Let's just start with Xander.
Can I read you some Xander stats?
Just fire them away.
Okay, so here we go. So Xander Schauffele now owns the 2 best scores ever shot in major championship history. Both the score to par and the gross score. So Xander, of course, his round today was a 9 under, a 62. And then obviously we remember last year, US Open LACC, he had an 8 under 62. He and Ricky both shot opening round 62s at LACC. It also ties the lowest score relative to par in the first round of a major is 9 under. Rory McIlroy did it at the 2010 Open Championship at St. Andrews. Greg Norman did it at the 1996 Masters. So he is in great company. Now here's another stat that kind of brings in, the flip side of that, right? Because you're like, he's doing all this in major championships. Why hasn't he won any? And here are the players in this field with the most career top 10s in majors without a major championship title. It's Ricky, 13 top 10s, Xander, 12 top 10s, and Tony Finau with 10 top 10s. So we talked a little bit about Xander as we're previewing this major and how he's playing excellent golf right now. I mean, he's a top 10 machine, hasn't missed a cut in 2 years, and here he is again, just getting off to a super hot start, about as good as he can get. What did you see today that obviously that you like? There was a lot to like. You led the field in strokes gained putting, and do we think this is sustainable? Because like last year, round 2 LACC, he shoots 70, kind of comes back to the field. What do we think we're going to see out of Xander the next 3 days of Valhalla?
Well, he sure built off of what he did last week at Quail Hollow, which was not a surprise to either of us based off of how well he played. The scoring average on Sundays mainly is ticked up because of the putter. So it was good to see him get off to a hot start with the ball striking that's continued on from how well he's hit it and having a really nice day on the greens, leading the field with the putter today. But I just kind of go back to that round at LACC. What was kind of in common with what today was like at Valhalla? Thursday morning. So they got off to a nice start on soft greens, perfect greens. So I think there was a huge opportunity for all the guys this morning to go out and shoot a number. It was sunny out, good visibility. We're expecting rain potentially the next couple days. So I don't know how hard it's going to rain and what that's going to do to scoring. But for Xander, just to go in a race kind of in his mind, letting it get away last week, I think it was probably maybe easier in the fact that it didn't come down to 17 or 18 and pulling off shots. The thing was over on about the 13th hole. So he was already probably on to the next week and on to the PGA Championship. But you have to be, feeling pretty good if you're Xander. I mean, his game's obviously in a great spot. Him and Austin Kaiser are a great team together. In the next 3 days, I think tomorrow's a big test on what is that number going to be. Right now, he's at -9. Friday and Saturday, it's going to be a little bit of rain, so the golf course is not going to get any firmer. I don't see this tournament ending up being a winner at -12. This is one that's going to be closer to -18, -19, -20. So Xander has a really good opportunity to get into the mid-teens tomorrow and give himself an opportunity on Saturday and Sunday to really just kind of cruise and shoot 2-3 under par rounds, and that'd be good enough to win his first major.
And I wonder, with that in mind, whether that is better or worse for him in terms of how I guess the question I'm trying to pose is, if he keeps playing like he did last week and like we've seen him play in majors, what does the lead have to be so that when he's putting a tee in the ground on the first hole on Sunday, and if it's in a final pairing with a Scotty Scheffler or a Rory McIlroy, what does that lead need to be so we feel like even if he does go out and shoot around, in the 70s, he could still get this thing done?
Well, this golf course doesn't help a leader unless you have a 5 or 6 shot lead. I think anything within 4 or 5 shots feels attainable out here, because I think it's going to be a tight finish. And unless you're a guy that you find your way to the mid-20s under par somehow, which is possible.
Totally.
Let's not rule out just the lowest score in a major championship history. I'm not ruling that out because I think it will remain soft enough. I don't think it's that penal of a test for a major. And if you're on your game, who says he doesn't go out tomorrow and shoot another round in the mid to low 60s?
So moving then a little bit further down that board, we already touched on a little bit, tied for second, both Tony Finau and Sahith Theegala, both at 6 under. We talked a lot about Sahith in the lead up of this major, of really like him here. Yep. Just what this course is going to require really suits his strong, his game. And Tony, we didn't talk about as much, but here he is, an incredible long iron player. And we're at a course where as it gets softer and softer, that's going to be at a premium if they're not getting a ton of rollout off the tee, and he can hit it, and that bore itself out today as he cards a good round. So I read you a stat about Tony, that the same one was Xander, about the players in the field, most career top 10s in majors without a major championship title. Also, today marked the first bogey-free rounds in the PGA Championship careers of both Xander Schauffele and Tony Finau. This is Schauffele's 25th career round at this championship. It's Finau's 35th. So with Tony, I mean, and that's the interesting thing about, I think, this leaderboard, and it's why I love this leaderboard, at least through one round, is that there's such a good mix of guys who have won, big game hunters. I think Rory's at 4, Scotty at 4.
Rory's at 5.
Rory's at 5.
Yeah, Scotty's at 4.
Scotty's at 4. And the flip side of that being guys that are great players but have not won a major, like a Tom Kim at 5 under. Yep. Sahith at 6, Tony at 6,
Thomas
Xander
Dietrich
at
5.
Thomas Dietrich.
We did like
5.
Thomas Dietrich.
We like Thomas Dietrich. We also like Taylor Moore at a good round today as well.
Yeah, he shot 4 under.
So, just that sort of mix, like for Tony, do you see the challenge as being similar to Xander, where it's not going to be a matter of the game? It's going to just be, mentally, can you kind of hold up, with all these other names around you?
That's what it's going to be about. I do think that Tony's one of the best ball strikers on the planet. He can ball strike his way to win this tournament. Maybe he can hit it good enough to where the putter doesn't get stressed quite as much. But let's say he found something in the putter,
right?
And maybe this is the week where it all comes together in a year in which I feel like we haven't talked about Tony enough because it hasn't been there with the putter.
Right.
So it wouldn't be surprising at all, but you said it, the scoring average being very low, 65 guys shot under par today. Is that about right?
The last stat I had on it was including those. This is maybe about an hour or two ago, prior to the finish of everyone's rounds, but including those who've already finished their round, the players who are still on the golf course. Over 60 players are currently under par in this first round. The PGA Championship record for the highest number of subpar opening rounds is 60 in 2006 at Medina. So so basically what we're saying is, like, wherever it shook out, it's either going to be the record or close to it.
70 guys make the cut here. That's the only thing that maybe makes that cut maybe not quite as low as another one that's a top 60 like the U.S. Open. So 70 and ties make it here. Right now, that cut would be even par. So not crazy, like it's still pretty normal, but still when you look up at the board and you see you're 9 shots back when you make the cut, it's definitely one in which you need to be on a 4 under par type of pace at least to be hanging around.
Well, how about our one and done picks? I mean, it would be very tough to be sitting where Ludwig Oberg
what did
is.
He shoot? What did Ludwig
one
shoot?
Over.
Yeah, Rahm got under
as
par.
a Tiger. Rahm got under. I mean, let's talk about John Rahm a little bit, because I mean, if you were just watching without sound, which I was for the majority of the day in the media center, it looked like a guy who was having just the worst time ever on a golf course, just gesturing at the hole, at the greens, threw a club.
Yep.
It was almost melting down the front 9, and then turns it around and shoots 1 under. I think he made like 4 or 5 birdies on the back against like a bogey and just got it to the finish line. I mean, that is a huge effort I know you're 8 shots off the lead, but you don't know what Xander's going to post tomorrow, and the rest of the guys at the top of the board. Really kept himself in the championship where he easily could have just tanked it and said, I'm out of here.
He looked irritable.
He did.
He looked irritable. And so, I mean, Rahm just did not look like himself the first 6 holes. It seems like he's almost putting a lot of pressure on himself.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to prove everybody wrong a little bit. And you wonder, maybe his psyche's a little bothered by just the decision that he made. And maybe he just doesn't feel quite comfortable yet in that he's trying to make people happy around him, and the friends that he used to have, maybe he doesn't quite feel that same love.
I think that's such an interesting part of the dynamic of going to live. When we talked about Rahm on the front of that decision, and we were just talking about how he's just so competitive and he lives for big moments. But
he lives for big moments.
Did you see what
you see? That was a plug.
You see what I did there? that little play on words. But I mean, a guy where we thought he was going to miss the competition, the day in, day out competition on the PGA Tour, especially in those elevated events. And I contrast that with like another guy like Brooks Koepka, who also went to live, who it's almost like he really only ever cared about the majors. And as long as he had a way to be in those majors, he wasn't really going to miss, the Memorial, or the Genesis or things like that. Whereas I feel like those really revved John Rahm's engine. And so kind of to your point about the pressure, it's like now each of these majors where he's showing up and he's getting a chance to play real high stakes golf, that I feel like that can be a huge psychological burden. And I wonder if that's kind of, you're hitting on it right there. Like that's kind of what's happening with John Rahm, at least in this round. But, even as we say that, we're kind of speaking from a place of what we saw, just, his sort of emotions today on the course, but he still shoots 1 under. It really wasn't that bad.
I bet he goes out and shoots a 5, 6, 7 under par tomorrow. It just feels like his name is going to be in the top 10 entering the weekend.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think, and you could see it too, in the same way that he was frustrated on the front or on his first 9 holes, like when he was making putts, making birdies on the back, you could see that sort of lift and that like, let's go, like we're going to get this done. So there is still hope yet for your one and done pick. I'm not so sure about Ludwig. I think Ludwig, he might be injured. Not
hurt. I don't know. That was your guy. I was kind of trying to stay away from that one a little bit. So sorry for the DFS people that we plugged that one in there for you.
Sorry about that, guys. We did give you Taylor Moore though, so
we've probably been about 15 or so minutes into this, and we have not even talked about the shot of the day.
Oh, the shot of the day. Scotty Scheffler's second shot of the tournament, 167 yards out on the first hole. One hops it in for an eagle. And I was standing actually right here, right outside.
I was
Club
over
Magenta,
here, and I heard it.
Yeah, I heard the same thing, and I was like, "What happened?"
That?
And I immediately pulled up the app, and the highlight went up shortly after, and it was like, of course. And I know he still posts 4 under today, in a day where it was actually interesting. He was a little loose with some of his approach shots.
Yeah.
And the strokes game putting, I think he lost strokes on the green. But still, I mean, it's like just classic Scotty. Like not his best day, but finds a way to just kind of hang there, 5 shots off the lead, right where he wants to be, and can just keep building on that throughout the week. And all it takes is one hot day with the putter, and he'll win the thing.
And shout out to T-Mobile about the location, right? Like this is probably the epicenter of this golf tournament, to where we can hear roars across the golf course. I mean, I was over here. I was like, it felt like I was right in the action. So that's another good spot about being here at T-Mobile Club Magenta. You can come by, get a cocktail, and you also hear Scotty Scheffler hole out on the first hole.
It's like roar epicenter, like right in the center of it. Yeah.
But I thought the call from Jim Nantz was great. Hello, Dad. It was, I don't think anybody was expecting the start that Scotty had right from the get-go. I saw he eagled the first hole, and I was like, oh, he eagled the par 5 10th. Oh, no, just hold out a 9-iron at number 1. But even the stats, I was looking at Data Golf, just kind of seeing exactly what Scotty did in his round, and shocking led tee to green.
Yes.
And was 100 and I believe 21st. Let's see if that's changed at all since I've updated. Let me do a little refresh here.
You're looking for what stat here? For strokes gained putting?
Yeah, his strokes gained putting.
See, he gained more than 5 shots tee to green.
111th in the putting.
Yeah, and he lost a shot. 1 stroke. It's negative 1.04 strokes gained putting.
Like we said, if he just putts, if he putts well, he wins. If he putts average, he's right there. And 400 is still right there, unless Xander decides to just go absolutely AWOL.
Well, and that's the thing about him now. It's like and I look less at the relative to the field, although that's obviously important in terms of where you're going to finish on the leaderboard. More about like the actual what's the number, how many strokes you're losing, and it's like he's eliminated that huge number, the huge bad number, to where even if it's negative, he's keeping himself around. And then it just takes one break-even day with the putter for him to just kind of surge and get ahead of the rest of the field. And so, I mean, I think, it's I was expecting a little bit of rust for Scotty, obviously coming off of, the 3-week layoff and probably some sleepless nights, probably some getting familiar with the diaper change routine, things of that nature. That's a fun one. But, I mean, the second shot of the tournament to go in like that, it's just so good.
He'll be there. And I wanted to ask you this. Any disappointments for you today? Besides, I know Ludwig had the injury, but is there any guys that you were came away disappointed?
Yeah, I think it was going to be Rahm initially. I mean, as I kind of just scroll down the leaderboard here, well, I mean, let's just do some quick hitters here. Is like Victor Hovland, 3 under.
Yeah.
Back with Joe Mayo. That's kind of a big deal. I mean, that was something we talked about extensively on the pod. For those two to be back together, I think we're going to start to see him trending in the right direction. So that's not a disappointment. That's obviously a good one. But going down, I don't know necessarily. I think here's the hard thing to know is that because so many guys were under par today, you're looking at red numbers next to guys' names and saying, okay, first day of a major championship, under par, like they're in a good spot. But it might not be as good as they could be because they're going to have to go so deep this week if they want to win this thing. I'd say anybody who is even or over par, I mean,
got a lot of work to do.
That's pretty rough.
Got a lot of work to do.
And unless all those guys like Ludwig could go deep tomorrow on a soft golf course, but you got to go out and do it.
Yeah, the two biggest disappointments for me today. Guy who we just had on the podcast, I really felt like Akshay was going to have a big day.
Yeah, he was 2 over. I saw
he lost all the strokes on the greens today. Had a really tough day with the putter, and he's been putting so good. That was really surprising. And then Torque's own Joaquin Niemann, he shot a 2 over par today. And speaking of losing strokes on the green, he was last in the field today with the putter, and he off the tee today. He was the 4th best off the tee. So that has to be so frustrating. When I was actually driving in this evening, looked over at the practice range and the putting green to see who was out there. Phil was hitting balls, and thank goodness he was, because he was hitting it all over that golf course. It was a hard watch where he was hitting drives, and very relatable, to be honest. And then who was on the putting green? Joaquin Niemann. He was putting and probably not in the hole on the practice putting green.
Last quick one before we wrap up this journal for the day is just assessing Tiger Woods' day. He also was shot 1 over par round. He's tied for 84th right now. I thought there was some good of the holes I saw where he made some kind of clutch, par saves, some big up and downs, made some long putts. But, obviously you want to be better than 1 over on a day like today.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on just, what Tiger needs to do tomorrow? Can he get it done? Can he make the cut here?
He looks sharp at times, rusty at times. It didn't look like a player that's about to go out and shoot a 6 or 7 under tomorrow,
Right.
like maybe a John Rahm might. So I think if he makes the cut, it's a win, but still, it's probably back to that prediction you had at the beginning of the week that he makes the cut and towards the bottom of the board.
Yeah, and I just wonder like how long that remains satisfying for him.
Yeah, that's a great point. And Gooch eagled 18 today to shoot even par. Did I see that right? Because he was 3 over
on Taylor Gooch watch.
He was 3
That's
over
important.
through 12. I said he was going to make the cut. You said he was going to miss. I think he eagled the last hole today to shoot even par.
You know what? He sure did. T65.
Right on the cut line.
He had what a day for Taylor Gooch. He had 14 pars, one bogey, 1 birdie, 1 double, and 1 eagle.
How do you double the 10th hole here?
I don't know. I mean, he clearly did not have the magenta vibes.
If we went out right now, cold turkey, I think we do better than 7.
You think we do better than 7?
Do you think you make a 6 right now?
Out here?
Yeah.
No. The way I'm driving it? You kidding me?
Oh, you're making a 5.
I'm making it 4.
You thought about saying 3.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that's where we wrap up our journal for day 1. And, of course, a reminder, come join Smylie here tomorrow at T-Mobile's Club Magenta for Spilling the Tea with Colton Oast. That's going to be a blast. That's 2 to 3 p.m. right here, Magenta Hour. So come do that. And then we will bid you farewell on the audio side of things. But if you'd like to continue watching us on the video side of things, I'm going to turn this camera over here to the left because here's another thing you can do. If you come to Club Magenta tomorrow, there's like a putting green over here. I've seen all different sorts of games. You can play tic-tac-toe on this putting green.
Yeah, it's got the PuttView, so it shows you like you could putt. If it's a right to left putt, it's like a cup out. It shows you this, like the picture of how to putt it in. Not that would help you, but I'm about to beat you in this putting contest.
So what's first to 3 makes?
First to 3 makes. So if you're listening right now, we're sorry, but you can pull up your YouTube and you can watch while you're driving.
Well, no, listening, the pod's over at this point. But if you're watching, it's like a little screensaver. Think of it like that. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks for listening and continue watching.
Here we go. I'm gonna commentate over here while you putt.
Yeah, please do. How about are we gonna do? There we go. We'll share a mic. We'll keep that mic right there. I'm gonna send this over here. So am I going first?
Oh yeah. How many putts it takes for you to make 3 in a row?
Oh, so we're just gonna do total putts taken to make 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And then
Oh no. To make 3. To make 3. Yeah. Pardon me. The amount of times of putts it takes you to make 3.
There we go.
Yep.
That's a good game. All right, we're gonna start right about here. This putt is a little uphill, right to left.
Let me do the commentating, please.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
All right, we have a 6.5 foot putt uphill, breaking right to left. Charlie Hulme settling in, takes it away on the way, and that was yanked right from the get-go. 0 for 1, folks. This is a tough start.
I'm in a better mental space than John Rahm.
Oh gosh, now he's aiming so much further right. He's gonna decel this one. Could have seen that coming miles away. The old decel. The old decel. And we're gonna cap you at 10, by the way. Yep. All right. We're just gonna keep on missing it low. We're just gonna keep on. So I'm gonna go off on a limb here and say he hammers this one through on the right.
Do you think I'm gonna make a single putt? I'm serious. You can't make this putt.
0 for 4. 0 for 4.
This can't be regulation.
Yep. Okay.
Someone's got to come take a look at the screen.
What?
It's also fun. What we should do is we should get listeners or viewers to come shoot video themselves doing the same challenge tomorrow, and then
Absolutely. See if you can do better than Charlie, which is right now not much. You can just breathe. I think he's still gonna miss it low. Oh, he finally hammered one through. We saw that going. So 0 for 5.
I need a magenta broomstick. Right
Why don't you change putters? See if that helps.
No. This is the right
Or putt lefty like my brother will.
I might go to the short putter. We have like a putter for children here as well. Is this putt 6?
This is putt 6.
That's gotta go. I'm not gonna make a single putt. All right, we'll go short putter.
Okay. He's all right.
This is the mark putter.
So it's your 7th putt. You're definitely gonna make it with this putter now.
It's like putting my son's putter up in his room. Is that 8 putts?
That was your 7th putt. Now you're on your 8th putt. So
We may go back and look at this.
no, this is your 8th putt, and you have yet to make a 6.5 footer that's uphill, breaking right to left. And you've missed now 8 putts in a row.
Can the ball not go in the hole?
Here you got 2 more. It's gonna be hilarious when I get up here and make my first 3. By the way.
This is a testament to my tinkering issue, and this might ruin me for fun. I hope you know.
Yeah.
Let's go left hand low.
How bad are your hands shaking right now?
Left hand low here.
It's just guesswork when you hit the ball.
Left hand low, and that would do 1 Tony Finau soft. Oh, he got one. He got one.
1 for 9. Okay.
All right, this one's for Tony Finau. We're sawing, baby.
Go for the saw. Little saw dog.
Little sawdog for the boys.
Wow. Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, not bad. 1 for 10. Not bad. Not bad.
Demoted to AAA. So. All right, we got Charlie Hulme on the mic here as Smylie Kaufman steps in over his putt.
Should I build suspense or?
I just try to make him right away. Okay, so Smylie's going left hand low. Okay, great. All right, I'll do the commentating here. Why don't you worry about putting? Okay, okay. This is gonna look bad for me. That's 1 for 1, Smylie Kaufman, and that's 2 for 2. Smiley's rolling the rock well today, boys. Top of the field strokes gained putting out of 2-player field. And did he finish it? He sure did. I got a bad deal there.
What just happened?
I got a bad deal there. All right, so Smylie, talk to us about that putt. How do we feel about it?
It was the easiest putt I think I've probably hit this year, and yeah, I think you're in a tough spot right now.
It's a tough scene. Here's my spin zone. You ready for this? I think this could lead to like a spin-off putting series where fix Charlie's putter.
Or just maybe big-time players rise to the occasion and close the show. I think it's time to close the show.
Hope you enjoyed the bonus YouTube content, and we will talk to you tomorrow.
You know, I listened to this podcast. It's really cool. And
all of our lovely fans and subscribers, but make sure you like and subscribe.
It's cool to see what you guys are doing. I know golf fans appreciate it, but we do too, so please keep it up.
For all the good people of YouTube, like and subscribe.
You guys have some good takes, so I'm happy to come on and shoot the